National Football League. For the 13th season, ESPN brings it to you hook, line, and sinker. Sunday Night Football, preceded by primetime, but the day truly begins with the gang of merry men and women that we call Sunday NFL Countdown. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Dick Vitale, and welcome to the final NFL season of the decade, the century. Heck, make it the millennium. For 2 hours every Sunday, we get you set for kickoff and then some. But you know that already. You also know this gentleman at my side for every one of those 13 years. We're either the Tom Jackson. We're either the Huntley Brinkley or Laurel and Hardy of football. I'm not sure.
Huntley Brinkley.
Welcome back. Well, you certainly know this fella. Speaking of wild rides, nobody circles the wagons like James Kelly.
That's right.
Welcome back.
Thanks, Hoss.
Nice box, bro.
Okay.
And then let me be the first ever to wish you a happy New Year, Sterling. You know. Welcome back. The sharp that speaks.
Yes. Well, not too much.
Well, okay, I'll keep it down.
Yeah, right.
And the guy with more scoops than Baskin Robbins.
Carry the bags, right?
Yeah, you're fine, but sing the fight song later on, please. And joining our ESPN team after spending the 80s and the 90s as one of the most successful head coaches. Cleveland Browns, and for the past decade of the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what? I've thought about it. He was the coach. Hey, Dave! Hey, Bill! Marty Schottenheimer is with us. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you. I finally got it right the second time.
Indeed. We'll have a quiz on these names later on. Marty's a frequent visitor to this show, which will be enlightened, and to all our NFL shows. Welcome aboard. And Ray, you don't care who wins or loses.
I'll be undefeated at the end of the day.
Isn't that very nice? Joe Theismann, of course, will join us weekly, as he always had. He's in Cleveland tonight for the historic opener. There's a lot to jump about in this 1999 season. We head out to the stadiums, and we welcome back an old friend. But I mean that figuratively, certainly not literally. Come on back, Susie Colbert.
Thanks, Chris. It's great to be back. As for this one, Patriots-Jets, enough said. Although I guess I could add that Bill Parcells is going for his 4th straight win against his old team. Something not lost on Pete Carroll.
Here in Jacksonville, an interconference matchup with a playoff atmosphere. The Jags and the 49ers are hoping to play the very first game and very last game against each other.
At a sold-out Georgia Dome, it's a rematch of the biggest upset in NFC Championship game history. Once again, the Vikings are favored to beat the Falcons, who are playing up the lack of respect theme.
It's a new day in Green Bay as the Packers move beyond Mike Holmgren into the Ray Rhodes era. What will the Packers do on offense, and what will the dominant Raider defense do to stop them?
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones told me, quote, "It doesn't look good for Deion Sanders playing today for Dallas, but he will come out and test his toe at the stadium in just a little while and then make a final decision."
In Indianapolis, Edgerrin James takes his place alongside Peyton Manning as the Colts try to return to respectability, while Doug Flutie tries to continue the magic that led the Bills to the playoffs last season.
Ricky Williams will play today against the Carolina Panthers. The Saints hope their only draft pick can help lead them to their first winning season since 1992 and become New Orleans' first 1,000-yard rusher since 1989. Back to you, Chris.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Back to all the stadiums shortly. We're going to party like it's 1999. An NFL kickoff weekend 99. Huge season with a huge influx of big-name skill player rookies. 5 quarterbacks picked in the first round, including Tim Couch, Donovan McNabb, Akili Smith, 1, 2, 3. The running backs who went 4 or 5, Edgerrin James and the much ballyhooed Ricky Williams. The Denver Broncos trying to do what no other team has done, win 3 straight Super Bowls. Tom, 6 others have tried and failed. Okay, so there's no John Elway, but there is 2,000-yard man Terrell Davis. Okay, there's no Reggie White, alas, no Barry Sanders. But there's unbridled excitement around the league. What should be a wide-open season, complete with replay. There's a bye every week, which means for week 1, the Chargers remain undefeated. And here come the Cleveland Browns, one of the NFL's most storied franchises, back after a 3-year hiatus. fact, 50 seasons after automatic autogram, Lou the Toe Groza and Company led them to a title in their first NFL campaign. It's fitting they opened their new era against their oldest rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Stu, you were there in 19, weren't you? You remember that.
I wasn't there, but that fat guy with the dog mask was there, and now he's in our commercial, so it all comes full circle. Boom, it's been 1,358 days since a team in Cleveland, an NFL team, strapped on shoulder pads. Marty, interesting drama. Their first game against Bill Cowher, former linebacker for the Browns, coached in Cleveland under you. Now, he says it might be a different stadium, but it'll be the same as always, loud and rowdy.
Stuart, the dreams of the Browns' return has finally been realized. I've stood in front of that crowd down there and literally had the hair on my arms stand up. The place is going to be electric.
Former Brown, current Brown, DB Antonio Langham says it's Cleveland football again. He has this wild, almost detached look. It means your blood starts to bleed brown again. And bleeding brown, an interesting phenomenon because it's an expansion team that has to live up to a legacy. Our Saladin Wilcox is hanging out with some brown bleeders at the NFL Experience in Cleveland 9 hours before game time. Sal?
Yeah, Stuart, the Cleveland Browns, well, you know what? It's been really exciting here in Cleveland all weekend long. They've been celebrating, and of course, the fans here are anticipating their beloved Browns taking the field after a 3-year hiatus. I was at that game 3 years ago at the old historic Cleveland Browns Stadium back on December 17th, 1995. It was a cold and somber day, but today there's nothing but sunshines and smiles here on the banks of Lake Erie. Now, they've been celebrating in Cleveland all weekend long, and in a very big way. The band Little Beat provided the views for the big dogs who were out enjoying themselves, while the NFL Experience, well, they brought out the little dogs, and maybe this is a sign of things to come. Tim Couch versus Cordell Stewart. Of course, the pressure was on Tim Couch early, but Cordell Stewart emerges as the winner. And, of course, everyone's fan favorite, former Cleveland Brown quarterback Bernie Kosar delighted the fans by signing autographs. They tried to talk him into coming out of retirement, but he declined. Now, as you can see, Stuart, the fans here really know how to have a good time, but they also know how to intimidate their fans. And Tommy, you're a native of Cleveland. You know better than anyone the depth of love the fans here have for their football team.
Well, Solomon, I used to be one of those fans, and it wasn't called the Dog Pound then, but it is the best fan base in the country, with all due respect to all the other NFL fans around the country. And the expectations for this team will be a little bit higher. But when you think about this ball club, out of their 22 starters, 17 of them have playoff experience, 9 on the defensive side of the ball. So when Carmen Policy and Dwight Clark put this ball club together, I think they put it together with the knowledge that we want to be in football games and give our offense a chance in the fourth quarter to have a chance to win.
They've done this before.
Yes, they know a little
bit
about winning.
Which means what? I got to pick them now. I'm just telling you one thing. November 7th, okay? One home game against Baltimore. If they win that game, the whole season will be a success, 1-15.
Who won't be there?
Well, the good thing is Art and David Modell probably won't be using their seats. We can go. Yeah. we can go. Well, let's go to the season here, guys, because last year, I mean, Minnesota, not even in the Super Bowl, but 556 points. In offense, well, it was record-setting. So imitation is the highest form of flattery. Does everybody kind of play Viking-style offense? Can they?
I think so. I think what you're going to see a lot more of is 3 wide receivers, and they're trying to flip the football field, and that is throw the long pass to try and get field position. Instead of going 17, 18 play drives, they want to go 2, 3, 4 play drives and try and get scores quickly.
Well, the NFL would love that, Sterling. I mean, this is a league that does not want defenses or kickers to dominate. That's why you saw a rule change in the offseason where kickers don't get to use their own footballs. They got to use the league's footballs, Jim. It's all about offense. You quarterbacks like that, don't you?
Yeah, you do. But last year, the backup quarterback was very instrumental in the success of their teams. Good examples in Minnesota when Brad Johnson went down, Randall Cunningham came in. When Rob Johnson went down, Doug Flutie came in, Bobby Brister came in for John Elway with the hamstring. And, of course, Glenn Foley goes down. Boom. Vinny Testaverde has a big, successful year, maybe an MVP year. Who are going to be the stars this year, Chris, in the backup role? Is it going to be maybe Jeff George, Rodney Peete? Maybe one of the rookies.
You almost don't want to start week 1, is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
It used to be, hey, I'm the starting quarter. But you know what? I don't think anybody's going to go 15-1 or 2 teams like the Vikings, 2 teams, Denver and Atlanta, 14-2. The Jets were, I think 12-4 might be the best. Wide open, wide open. We shall see. We get 2 hours to talk about it right now. Ahead of NFL Countdown, we'll look at the pressure on the head coaches, one of the most stressful things the toll the job takes on their families. Our member of the quarterback class of '83 goes one-on-one with the last alum.
Time for us in Minnesota. She looked up and said, "Daddy, if we lose this game, does this mean we have to move?" Now, when a 7-year-old reaches up and pulls your heart out like that, it makes you think long and hard about your profession.
Our member of the quarterback class of '83 goes one-on-one with the last alumnus still in the league. Who looks better? What does the commander-in-chief have in common with San Francisco's field general? You answer the question. And Morton Anderson entered the Vikings Super Bowl hoax. Will Dan Reeves be dancing after the rematch? We'll be back.
How did UPS become the official express delivery sponsor of the NFL? Well, let's just say they put us through a very challenging drill. For the earliest next-day delivery, count on the same people the NFL does. UPS.
Kick off the NFL season today with DirecTV and Circuit City. When you buy a DirecTV system at Circuit City and subscribe to NFL Sunday Ticket and DirecTV's Total Choice Platinum programming, you'll score 3 free months of Total Choice Platinum and see DirecTV's official program guide, a savings of over $250. With NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV, you'll get over 200 regular season games. That's up to 13 games every Sunday. Save today at Circuit City.
Put your name on the line. It means something. That's what Jiffy Lube Signature Service is all about. We put our name on the line every single day. It's our guarantee we did the job right. Jiffy Lube Signature Service. More than an oil change. And we offer quality Pennzoil and Quaker State products.
Hey, did you see my game-winning catch? Triple overtime, but with 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls, it's a low rate, no matter when I need a ride home. Whoa! Whoa! Hey, hootie! C-A-L-L-A-T-T!
A low rate every minute, everywhere. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT.
Hey, working hard or hardly working? Steve Marino, hey, how's it going, fella?
Feeling hungry can affect your mood. That's why there's Balance Bar. It puts great taste, balanced nutrition, and sustained energy in the palm of your hand. Never be out of balance.
NFL Countdown is brought to you by UPS, the official express delivery sponsor of the NFL, and by Circuit City. Answers in every department, low prices all over the store.
You know, it's not so long ago that we were speaking of this very game. Last January, the Atlanta Falcons, 11-point underdogs despite going 14-2, shocked the Minnesota Vikings in overtime 30-27 in Minneapolis, trailing by 10 points with 4 minutes to go in regulation. For the 15-1 Vikings, who scored all those record-setting points, it was a head-scratcher of the first degree. And if they are hell-bent to prove that they can go the distance, then they have the perfect opener at Atlanta, where, oh, by the way, Super Bowl 34 will be played. But Southerners are real proud of their home cooking, aren't they? The Dirty Birds of Dan Reeves and Jamal Anderson, he of the over 1,800 yards and record 410 carries. Well, as I say down south, they are fixing to make this a season-long party at the Georgia Dome. An NFC title rematch in Week 1. Shazam to Hotlanta and our Andrea Kramer. Good season, Andrea.
Good season to you, Chris. Well, the focus on the Falcons' offense has been the absence of wide receiver Tony Martin, the deep threat who loosened up defenses enough for Jamal Anderson to lead the conference in rushing. But Anderson wants to concentrate instead on who is returning, namely his lead blocker, who missed last year's championship game.
Bob Christian can do what for you?
A lot of things. See people that I don't see to chip people off of me.
Like
pick
a
up
Robert
the safety.
Griffith?
Yeah, exactly. Pick up the safety. Picks up defensive linemen in certain places that I don't, I just can't account for.
Last season, Anderson accounted for nearly half of the Falcons' offense.
Can Jamal do even more this year?
I sure hope so. Hopefully less carries and more yards.
I'm going to try to have a couple more catches this year, and that would be nice, but 50% of the offense, I don't know. But it's a tremendous amount. If
He would have went back in. Not that that would have been the right decision. He would have went back in because he wanted to go back in. Of course, we held him out because the play it didn't mean anything. He had got his carries, and we said he was going to get about 9 carries, and that's what he got.
I was nervous, in Miami, the few carries I got, and I'm sure I'm going to be nervous playing in front of the home crowd.
As far as your ankle, how did that feel? What are you expecting from that?
It's not 100%, but it feels better every day, and I feel like I can go out there and run well the whole game.
Hey, the big thing is now they have AstroTurf here. In the preseason, they use regular grass, but the turf is down. You got to watch Ricky. Maybe that might affect that ankle. One interesting note from Mike Ditka also, he said, listen, if I give Ricky the ball 60 times, you can pretty much guess that we won the game. Back to you, Chris.
All right, thank you very much, Ron. Joining us live from New Orleans. Ricky going to play. Tight end Cam Cleveland is out, but Willie Roaf, the big tackle, will play. But, Chris, when you think of the Saints, what do you think of first?
Well, Chris, immediately I think of Mike Ditka. To me, Mike Ditka is a man of passion and intensity. He has a chance to make a run here with guts. He did something that not a lot of people would do in the front office of an NFL football team. That's trade his whole draft. What do you think, Coach?
Well, I'll tell you what I think, Chris. You think he has guts, and I got to agree with that. But I also think he's nuts. I don't think I would have traded all of my draft choices. Guts or nuts? That sounds like a cereal. They go together pretty good. Well, you can figure it out. I admire him. He's rolling the dice. He wants to win now, right now, and so he's willing to mortgage the future in order to do it. He wouldn't follow my advice on the draft, but I'm going to give him some advice for today's game. Look out. John Marshall, the defensive coordinator at Carolina, is going to run a safety man up every down if he's smart to try and stop Ricky Williams. All right, of course, quarterback Billy Joe Hobart playing with some broken ribs. His backup is Billy Joe Tolliver, and the Saints would have signed Billy Joe McAllister, but he jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. I just thought I'd pass that along. All right, on to another quarterback, and Brett Favre making his 110th consecutive start for the Packers today. And against the Raiders, it's the longest string of any current quarterback in the NFL. Favre, the only quarterback in NFL history with 5 straight seasons of 30 or more touchdowns. But he enters today's game without Mike Holmgren and his quarterback coach from the last 2 years, Andy Reid. So, Jackie, the question here is, we know Brett's a great quarterback, but how is his comfort zone affected?
I think it's really good. I think he is a leader, always has been, always will be. But you know what? The interesting thing is that Sherm Lewis, the offensive coordinator, is out from under Mike Holmgren's shadow. He's calling all the plays. He's responsible for the game plan. And contrary to reports that Ray Rhodes wants to run the ball more, he's going to keep the football in this guy's hands 60% of the downs. But you know what, guys? There's an even more interesting dynamic occurring in Green Bay right now, in my opinion, and that has to do with the trifecta, if you will, from the standpoint that they are, for the first time, 3 African-American coaches heading up all the critical coaching areas in this organization. Ray Rhodes is the head coach. Emmett Thomas is the defensive coordinator. And, of course, Sherm Lewis, the offensive coordinator. And, you get a sense from talking to people, guys, that players, in particular, black and white alike, are looking forward to making this very unique situation successful for the Packers.
Well, Chris, let me tell you, those 3 coaches that Jackie just named are held in very high esteem in the coaching fraternity. And the Packers making history. The Raiders made history. They were the first team to hire a black head coach. That, of course, being Art Shell. Mark Shimura will give it a go despite the neck injury for the Packers today. We'll continue here. Up next, we head back to Atlanta where John Madden will join us live for more on the biggest game of the day, the Vikings and the Falcons. The NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net continues. Don't go away.
The man ahead of Elway on all those lists, except for the Super Bowl one, is Dan Marino. Is this his year now? The 10-6 Dolphins look the best they have under Jimmy Johnson. He started 245 times, including playoffs. Hall of Fame Dolphin quarterback Bob Greasy started 163 times, including playoffs. His son, Brian Greasy, starts for Denver. He started none.
I can sense the urgency in the locker room, putting in the game plan. Guys are studying more than they did last week, definitely, but it feels like a regular season game, and for me, it definitely will be my first start, and it's going to be fun.
Greasy and not the heir apparent Bubby Brister. Tommy, are you surprised here?
Yeah, I think everybody was surprised. Look, I think it translates into this. The chemistry of this football team is going to be a question mark until they start to win some games. Bubby Brister was a very popular guy, is a very popular guy on this ball club, won a quarter of the regular season games last year that eventually led to a Super Bowl championship. And then I think more importantly for Brian Greasy, the adjustment to game tempo, the game plan that he is going to see tomorrow night with every blitz package that Jimmy Johnson can think to bring at a young quarterback who hasn't really played. And I don't really know how he's going to respond to that.
I don't think anybody does, but I think it was unfair what they did to Bubby Brister. Of course, I'm not the head coach, but Bubby Brister proved last year that he can lead his team, leading to 4 victories.
Preseason is exactly that. It's preseason. Very vanilla defenses. You're not going to see an overs, the unders, the blitzes from each side. Brian Griese is in for a long road, but the thing about it is you can't overlook his numbers. 6 touchdowns and only 1 interception. And Marty, big question. Do you think Mike Shanahan is doing the right thing?
Jim, you know, a year ago in Kansas City, we had a situation where Bubby really beat us up pretty good. It's obvious, however, that Shanahan doesn't believe Bubby Brister can win as his starting quarterback. I think that's obviously the issue right here. When this thing unfolds in this season, it's all going to come down to one thing. Shanahan is in a position where few people have been, and that's an opportunity to three-peat. He's made his choice. It's obviously a bold choice. I think it's the right one.
You know what? When there's Denver information, I usually go to Tommy, but lately I've been talking with Shannon Sharp. Shannon this week, you know, told me, well, he also said, well, we'll have more of Shannon on Monday Night Countdown for 2 hours from 7 to 9 p.m. Mike Tirico gets to try to host a 2-hour pregame show. It's the best, though. Distant replay with some guy named Elway backstage with Tony Martin. Best of Monday Night Football. Tommy will be at Mile High Stadium to the hinterland. And then 9 o'clock Monday Night Football, ABC. Al and Boomer bring you the Dolphins at the Broncos with the retirement ceremony at the half. Should be great. New York and Boston are separated by just 200 miles. Culture, accent, and sports teams are separated by about 2,000 miles. There was always this nice AFL East rivalry in football between the Jets and the Patriots, but never has it reached the heights of the past 3 years as the 1996 Super Bowl coach of the Patriots, Billy Parcells, has turned the Gotham Green into Super Bowl contenders overnight. Tuna Bowl 5 at the Meadowlands, and Parcells' Jets have gone 3-1 in the previous Tuna Bowls, including 24-14 and embarrassing 31-10 game last season. True, New England was Drew Bledsoe-less in that Meadowlands finale last year, but as they've gone from 11-5 to 10-6 to 9-7, Jets have gone from 1-15 to 9-7 to 12-4. On paper, this is not the opener that the always pessimistic New England fans would have wanted. The Jet fans thinking Super Bowl. To the swamps of Jersey and back to Susie Colbert. Susie?
Chris, you know I'm happy in the swamps of Jersey, and if there's any question that this game is still personal, earlier this week, Pete Carroll called it a grudge game. And how can you blame him? He was fired by the Jets after just 1 season, and he's still coaching in Bill Parcells' shadow in New England. And after losing three straight to Bill Parcells, he still refers to him as an icon. Pete Carroll desperately wants this New England team to be his team, so much so that he's working to reinvent himself.
Quite frankly, it's been a tremendous offseason of introspection, of evaluation.
Result? He's more comfortable and confident, even though his Pats are picked to finish 4th, even 5th in the AFC East.
I kind of dig what we're up against right now. So if you're seeing that, I hope you're seeing me at my best, you know, and what I best represent.
His team is a heavy underdog today, but the new Pete Carroll is still expecting a victory.
You know, where some people think, you know, how come you're not backing off? Are you afraid of this? I'm a little dangerous right now. I tell you, frankly, I'm a little dangerous right now.
Dangerous? That's Keyshawn Johnson with or without Wayne Corbett. He promises a much more physical approach this season. First test, co-MVP of the Pro Bowl, Patriots cornerback Ty Law.
We know all eyes are going to be on us at all times, and even if it's not, Keyshawn is going to bring a lot of attention to us anyway, you know, by talking or something.
You and Ty Law.
Ty Law? What about him? But he's going to do something to bring some attention to us, so I don't have to say a thing.
Good way to start the season. I mean, this is, let's get you right in there against one of the best.
Well, I see Aaron Glenn every single day in practice. Obviously, Ty Law is one of the top 3-4 corners in the entire league. At least his paycheck says so.
Well, money talks, but experience speaks for itself. The Patriots are counting on big performances from 3 rookies today. Andy Katzenmoyer says his right ankle feels fine. He gets to start at middle linebacker. Kevin Falk will start at running back and split some time with Terry Allen. And Damian Woody starts at center. This week, the Patriots coaches have thrown everything in the book at Woody, every formation that the Jets used over the last 2 years, because Woody has to make the blocking calls at the line. But more bottom line, the Patriots know to have a true winning season, they'll have to keep Terry Glenn healthy.
That's right, Susie. And I think the matchup you watch more than Ty Law versus Keyshawn Johnson is the Glenn matchup. Aaron Glenn on Terry Glenn, especially when Glenn is in the slot. We've all seen it. When Terry Glenn is on the football field for the New England Patriots, Pete Carroll is an okay, pretty good football coach, Chris.
Well, it's certainly defense. He pushes the envelope, and they'll have to push a little today. You know, Law and Keyshawn, the co-MVPs of the Pro Bowl, they were teammates the last game, head-to-head this time. That'll be fun. Well, later on Countdown, the heartwarming story of a son and his father and the expectations confronting Vinny Testaverde. And on draft day, Mike Ditka let his hair down. Today, he hopes his only draft pick is ready to roll. New Orleans next.
Wow.
How's it looking, Chief?
It's looking good, TJ. Real good.
So what's she dialing?
She's dialing 1-800-COLLECT. We're in good shape.
Oh, no. I think her friend's going to dial 0.
Well, maybe she doesn't know 1-800-COLLECT can save a buck or two.
I'll rescue her.
Can't send a boy to do a man's job, son.
1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
Rima Umbrello.
Since 1851, the Bristol University School of Football has been an intellectual haven for asking questions and seeking answers. A place which challenges and enlightens young minds in the academic pursuit of football. Led by Dean Berman, the faculty prepares students to meet the challenges of the 21st century and beyond.
Here at Bristol University, we seek verity for the truth.
The Bristol University School of Football.
Ricky Williams arriving at the Superdome. Hope he can let it roll for the New Orleans Saints at home today against Carolina. Well, this not just in. Mike Ditka, draft day, shipped away his entire draft to select Ricky Williams, the all-time leading NCAA rusher with the dreadlocks, was already posed for big-time magazines in a wedding dress with Ditka and in the buff behind a surfboard with the greatest running back ever, Jim Brown. The Saints host the Carolina Panthers, starting anew with two-time Super Bowl winning coach George Seifert. Best behavior in the Bayou. Our Melissa Stark. Hi, Melissa.
Chris, Ricky Williams will start today. He practiced on Monday for the first time since suffering a high ankle sprain in the Saints preseason opener against the Dolphins. And although head coach Mike Ditka said he looked fluid and is 95% healed, he had just 9 carries all preseason.
Instead of going forward, I actually took some steps backward, so it's going to be tough to get back on my feet. And it's just making the season harder for me. It was already going to be tough, and now it's a little bit tougher.
The only thing I'm worried about is he hasn't carried the ball in traffic for a while since the Miami game. And, you know, I think, you know, going through there, the ball could pop out once in a while, and I think that, you know, guys will be going after it.
It's going to take a couple carries, a couple nice shots before I feel like I'm a football player again.
Is there too much pressure on him? Maybe, I mean, he's a 22-year-old kid. Do you worry about that?
The only thing I worry a little bit about is I hope he doesn't put too much pressure on himself. He wants to do so well. He wants to be who he was in college, and sometimes that pressure, he's just going to have to let it come naturally. You can't push for it.
Williams said he doesn't know if he can play the entire game. Ditka worries about his endurance and said that if his rookie running back can carry the ball 30 times, he'll be the happiest man alive. And in case you're wondering, Williams won't be taking off his helmet during interviews anytime soon, Chris. He doesn't see the big deal. His coach thinks it's because he's extremely shy.
That's an interesting one. Shy? We'll see. Up next, replay is back inside the booth to see what's different.
We're on the field, lining up. He's got it. He rolls. No ball hits the ground. He's got a touchdown.
Hi, and welcome to NFL Game Day 2000. Bill Dwyer here with Matt, Soft Rock Excursion.
First in New England, where Keyshawn tiptoes past Ty Law. When you look this good, you should have mirrors on the ceiling.
I do. To Minnesota, where Robert Smith won't need a new clock this Christmas because thanks to Warren Sapp, he just got his clean.
And in Pittsburgh, Bettis tells Darren Woodson, "Hi, my name's Jerome. I'm 5'11", 243, and enjoy taking long runs into the end zone."
I'm Bill. He's Matt. Please don't forget to call us for all your bachelorette party needs.
Hey, working hard or hardly working? Steve Marino, hey, how's it going, fella?
Feeling hungry can affect your mood. That's why there's Balance Bar. It puts great taste, balanced nutrition, and sustained energy in the palm of your hand. Never be out of balance.
Buy 4 Michelin tires now and get a free emergency roadside kit. Play the Michelin Buy 4 and Score game and maybe win a Dodge Viper, plus other great prizes. See your participating Michelin dealer by October 31st.
Don't move.
Now there's a beer with a head on it.
Sink your teeth into a frost-brewed Coors Light.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because you're too busy. So you push it. Just like your cheap brother-in-law at one of those all-you-can-eats. Hey, it's your car. You want to learn the hard way? Be my guest. This is reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. You ought to change your oil on time, but if you can't, can you say insurance? Quaker State. It's been tested. It works. What more do you need to know?
Tonight on ESPN, SportsCenter, followed by NFL Primetime, and Sunday Night Football as the Steelers take on the Browns. On ESPN2, an evening of auto racing and continuous scores and the latest news on the bottom line. And on ESPN Classic, a pair of college classics. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
4th and goal from the 5 for the Jets to try to take the lead in this football game. Testaverde, quarterback draw, down at the 1. He got down to the 1. Are they going to give it to him? Let's see. It sure didn't look like he got in, and it looked like he went down with the ball this side of the stripe.
Officially, Vinny Testaverde has 12 career rushing touchdowns. Officially. The Seahawks swear that it is 11. They say that Week 14 touchdown might have kept Seattle from the playoffs and might have cost Dennis Erickson his job. They say it was a bum call, hence instant replay. Here's how it works. Each team gets 2 challenges a half. Lose a challenge, lose a timeout, except the last 2 minutes in overtime. You want to know exactly how the system works? Greg Garber played zebra.
See the ball come out, but the down marker gets in our way.
Mark Burns is one of 16 NFL replay assistants.
Okay, here it is.
Burns is the only in-booth holdover from the system that was abandoned 7 years ago.
What happened in the old system is you did not have any of this technology. All that was done. And I'd say, oh, that's a great replay. Then what I'd have to do is put my machine on forward, put it back in record, go over to his machine, hit 3 buttons, and go over here and look. And then he'd be looking over here and say, oh, there's another replay. And I'd say, oh, that's even better. And he would set his on record, and then I'd go over here and hit the 3 buttons, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
The old system was junked by the owners because it was slow and intruded on the game.
Play.
According to the NFL, new technology has solved that problem.
Here, what's beautiful in that you just touch a screen, and it's right up there. So you could review a play within 10 seconds.
Jerry Seaman, a former referee, is now the senior director of officials.
The beauty of it for what we have upstairs with all the different replays, we can send down the first one or the second one that'll show it to them right away, so you don't have to sit there and go through all of the latitude and run it through.
Now it's all queued up. We might have 6 or 8 angles. We go right to that spot. We get there. I said, I want end zone angle of this with the end line looking at it, and then we can make our decision.
Back on August 13th, when the Giants visited the Vikings in their preseason opener, the system was put to one of its early tests. In a pregame check, Burns, the replay assistant up in the booth, was the link to the on-field referee, played here by Seaman.
So if we've got a pass to the sideline, close catch, both feet in, I'm the replay assistant. I'm looking at the field. And I'm looking at the field, and I'll say, wow, that's a close catch. By the time I say that, I'll look down here, and Ted will be just setting up the play.
Basically, when we want to review a play, when they come over here, the referee and the involved officials will be involved to see the particular play.
So I'll look at this, and as I'm looking at this, I'm saying, wow, that's close. Lori will be saying replay. When there's a replay, we'll come over, I'll look at the screen, and some replays are more applicable to the play than not.
Okay, let's go slow. Go backwards. Just go backwards and go slow. Back. Go real slow. Okay, now run at a regular speed.
Our goal is to get the perfect replay so that when the referee comes up to that screen, all he has to do is look at that one play and say, oh, I see why now it should be complete or not be incomplete.
There were no coaching challenges in the game. Just one false alarm when a coach inadvertently hit a button that signals a challenge.
This is as exciting as the high wire act, and now we're getting a chance to do it with a little safety net under it. You don't want to be on a plane going home thinking that you may be determining the outcome of the game.
In the preseason, replay was used 61 times in 63 games. 14 of those were reversed. The average time of each review was 57 seconds. The first reversal in the new system came in the Steelers-Bears game.
As you can see, as we get close in that end zone, it's a question, did the Pittsburgh player fall on the ball in the end zone? And if he did that, it would be a touchdown. Or when he got control of the ball, was he out of bounds? Now, the referee on this particular play ruled that we have a safety. Now, this is exactly the type of play that we want because it involves scoring. Now we will see another angle of it. You can piece things together, too. Now watch him throw that football out. So he definitely had control of the ball inbound. So this was a nice reversal. We changed this from a safety to a touchdown, properly done.
Still, there were flaws, including equipment malfunction and human errors in judgment.
We're still dealing with human beings. I'm not going to pretend that everything is going to be letter perfect. I mean, we wouldn't be naive if we would expect that.
Greg, thanks. Now remember, you lose a challenge, you lose a timeout, except the last 2 minutes of each half and overtime. Basically, what replay covers is end zone to end zone, sideline to sideline. Did a runner break the plane? Did he break the goal line? Was he down before he fumbled? It does not cover judgment plays like pass interference. Marty, you were on the competition committee back in 1986 when replay was first brought in. You were also involved in the first game where replay was used against the Bears. What do you think, good or bad?
Stuart, it's interesting. The play just reviewed by Jerry Seaman was exactly the circumstance that we were involved with there. I'm opposed to it. I'm particularly opposed to the challenge system aspect of this thing. What's going to happen is coaches are going to find themselves in very difficult situations where they're going to get second-guessed. You should have used it. You shouldn't have used it. Basically, the officiating, in my view, should be left to the officials, and the balance of that coaching can be left to us.
All right, calm down. Like you said, you don't care who wins anymore. All right, still ahead here on Sunday NFL Countdown. Can the Jags' Fred Taylor improve on his 17-touchdown sensational rookie season? And how about the 49ers? Steve Young, good problem to have. Let's see. Stokes, Owens, Rice. Who do I throw it to?
You can buy a Gateway Essential PC for $999, or you can buy a PC from a bargain basement company for $499. Then add a monitor, lots of software, 24/7 tech support, a year on the internet, and end up paying over $1,200. With Gateway, you'll get all that, and you still end up paying $999. Which one is the real bargain? Call 1-800-GATEWAY for a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor.
Would you like some roast beef?
Yeah, and don't be stingy.
Well, I'll have the Swedish meatballs. Oh, by the way, you look simply radiant. You do make a perfect couple. Thank you.
Hey, it's all foam.
How do you plan on paying for your wedding? Conseco's wide range of financial solutions can help. Conseco, step up.
Hurry in for the best deals all year on the few remaining 99 Sportages in stock.
Wrangler jeans are soft and comfortable. And they get more soft and comfortable every time you wash them. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
Pine Lake. 3 friends. 3 pair of Wrangler jeans. Everybody's comfortable. Even the fish. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Hey, if the season's starting today, you know what tonight is. NFL Friday. Join Tommy and I at 7:30 Eastern Time. We'll show you everything that went down in Week 1. 13 games, 13 TVs, leading into our game at Cleveland with the Steelers. Well, you know what? I'm not really sure that 45 minutes on primetime will be long enough for this game. 12-4 San Francisco at 11-5 Jacksonville. Despite the winds of change in San Francisco, and they're more like a hurricane, all head coach Steve Mariucci has done is win 25 regular season games in 2 years. You got some guy named Steve Young at quarterback, some guy, Jerry Rice at wide receiver, but alas, no Garrison Hurst at running back. As for the Jags, they have a full bag, led by quarterback Mark Brunell, running back Fred Taylor, who some say may have close to 2,000 yards in this only his second season. And 3 straight years in the playoffs for Tom Coughlin should get rosier. Remember, the AFC Central champs have 10 division games in a very weak division. To Jacksonville we go, and Sean Salisbury. Sean-O, here we go again.
The 49ers start this season with their most unsettled running game since Derek Lavelle took over for Ricky Watters in 1995. Today, Charlie Garner gets the start with his backup, Lawrence Phillips, also expected to get some touches.
It might be a very productive, or it might not be as productive as last year, but it might be even more. We don't know. We've got 2-headed horsemen going right now, and we'll let it unfold. We have no idea.
I think they have a very good replacement, Garner. I've seen him play. I played against him. I know what kind of back he is. He's fast. He's quick. He's a tough running back. And not only can he run the ball, but he's good in the passing game.
When you study, though, you realize that the teams that have had success against the 49ers have really not allowed a runner to get to 100 yards. They've held them under 100 yards rushing. And the thing that you have to always be concerned with is big plays.
And that usually starts with Steve Young and ends with Terrell Owens, J.J. Stokes, or Jerry Rice, who will all get plenty of chances.
We're going to be involved in some aggressive zone blitz, which means the ends have got to come off. Hopefully they can get in the way of one of those slants or something of that nature. But you've got to change up, and you've got to be prepared to understand where they're going with their game and then be a step ahead of them. If you're a step behind them, you have problems.
With the release this week of his partner, Merton Hanks, safety Tim McDonald is the only returning starter in the Niners secondary. And he is looking for help from a guy not known for his defense.
We're counting heavily on Charles Barkley.
We'll count on him too, man.
Charles Barkley, geez. Charles Haley, Chuck.
If Chuck could get to the quarterback, I'm sure the Niners would sign him. With the offseason departures of Roy Barker and Chris Dolman, San Francisco lost 27 sacks. And Sterling, McDonald also told me that D lineman Gabe Wilkins has got to play better this year.
Well, when you talk about defense, that's the one thing the Jacksonville Jaguars have got to do this year with that high-powered offense. They had 30 sacks all of last year. They had 10 in 3 preseason games, and you get a chance to see the pressure that Dom Capers is going to bring to the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 things have to happen. That zone blitz scheme not only has to get to the quarterback, they have to shut down the running game, and probably most importantly, they have got to stay healthy. This is probably the most talented team this franchise has had in their history. If they can stay healthy, they got a great shot of being in Atlanta during the Super Bowl.
And they'll get more than 30 sacks this year with Dom Capers coaching
that
defense. But when you start talking about health, nothing more important to San Francisco than keeping Steve Young healthy. You take a look at some footage from last year. This is a guy who was the beneficiary of almost 1,600 yards of rushing offense, compliments of Garrison Hurst, and yet the 49ers were sacked 53 times. With the spread offense, they want to bring the zone blitz system. Now, Bracken, 17.5 sacks in 43 games. Can you say Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd? Look for Dom Capers to bring him off that end against Dave Fiore, who has limited experience. It will be the matchup, not only of this game, but I think a matchup for the 49ers to look at their left tackle over the course of the season.
Fiore, some of that line a little banged up to start the season. The last time San Francisco had a road game in Florida was a week 1 2 years ago in Tampa. Steve Young, Jerry Rice, not good. But one thing out of San Francisco, you heard everybody knew, more pressure, lots of blitzes, lots of gambling, which I think will be lots of points in this game. One of the great stories, Bryant Young. Going to start, play 20 or 25 plays. Nobody's worked harder the last 8 months than Bryant Young to get back on the field. Ahead, Southpaw quarterbacks, how Steve Young and Mark Brunell are just a little left of center. Not since '83 as the draft been as quarterback rich as this one. We'll take a look at how they're adjusting. And Joey's tea. The birthday boy talks to the head of the class, Tim Couch, about what it's like to be a Brown.
Right now, Oscar De La Hoya has one thing on his mind. Being the first to beat Felix Trinidad. It's not enough to be the undefeated welterweight champion, because Trinidad is too. They're two warriors in peak condition, on top of their game, at the height of their powers. Only one can stay on top, and this is the ultimate showdown. The fight neither one can lose. Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, the fight of the millennium, live on Direct Tickets. Saturday, September 18th, De La Hoya versus Trinidad. Don't miss the fight of the millennium. Oscar De La Hoya versus Felix Trinidad. To be the best, you gotta beat the best.
The top hitters on the PGA Tour go north of the border to tee off at the Bell Canadian Open. Continues today at 5 on ESPN.
The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the brand new Cleveland Browns on ESPN Sunday Night Football.
George Brown.
What's your problem?
No one else is insulted by this guy?
Hey, take it easy.
What? I'm having a good time. I just want to know if our friend here has ever done any time in a real dog pound.
That's just the thing. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Save it for the Humane Society, you poser.
It's the Steelers against the Browns on ESPN Sunday Night Football. It all begins with NFL primetime at 7:30.
In the future. In the future. In the future. In the future. In the future.
I'm Donovan McNabb from Syracuse University. People are beginning to realize that the drop back passing is just not going to get it done. I'm Tim Couch from University of Kentucky. When I see the, the tight coverage, the safety's down, I know something's big about to happen.
I'm Cade McNown from UCLA. When I'm just, doing what I'm coached to do, I try and be as finesse as possible.
I'm Dante Culpepper. I'm a quarterback, and I don't fear anything.
My name is Akili Smith from the University of Oregon. My dad got my name out of a Swahili dictionary, and that means power, intelligence, and creativity.
Five fat first-round picks as quarterbacks, and none of the five will start. Tim Couch, the only college QB to ever complete 400 passes in one season, he asked Peyton Manning, last year's #1, whether it was best to start immediately or watch and learn. Said Manning, start, definitely. Yeah, what quarterback wouldn't say that if it was his playing time in question? Certainly not Joey's T. Joe Theismann joins us now from Cleveland, where he will call the huge game tonight. Joe, you turned 50 years old on 9/9/99. Happy birthday. And you spent some time with Tim Couch. What were your impressions of this year's overall #1 pick?
Well, first of all, Stuart, it's great to be here in Cleveland. This is an incredible atmosphere. It's almost like a Super Bowl. And it's unfortunate that Tim Couch is not going to have the opportunity to start tonight for the Cleveland Browns. But that doesn't necessarily mean that his future may be postponed. We could see him sometime through the course of the evening. He's put a lot of time, a lot of effort in, a lot of energy to trying to become a starting quarterback. It's starting to pay off, and he's starting to look pretty darn good.
You're up next. Okay.
Couch drops back to pass. Protection's good. He's going for it all. Johnson's there. He's got it. Touchdown!
What have you noticed the biggest difference between pro ball and college ball?
The biggest thing I've noticed is, the players are a lot smarter. They've seen things so many more times than the guys in college. Like, for example, the DBs, they've seen the route so many times they get an extra jump on the ball.
Welcome to the National Football League's 99 draft.
What seems to be the general theme you guys talk about?
Right now, we're all just talking about how tough the NFL is, so we're all kind of trying to help each other get through that.
You've gotten advice from different quarterbacks. I'm going to mention some names, and you share with me, if you would, some of the advice they've given you. Peyton Manning.
He just gave me a lot of advice on how to handle the pressure of dealing with the media and the expectations of being a #1 pick.
Ty Detmer.
Ty's taught me a lot about the on-field stuff, the reading coverages, just being patient out there, being calm, and I think I've learned a lot just by sitting back and watching Ty.
one of the traditional Browns, Bernie Kosar?
Bernie's taught me a lot about off-the-field stuff here in Cleveland. About how the fans, you know, really embrace the players here in this town.
When you were at Kentucky, how many plays were in your playbook?
I would say we probably had about 15 pass plays maybe, and, you know, 4 or 5 running plays.
Now all of a sudden, you come to Cleveland, Coach Palmer hands you a playbook that in itself just has 100 pass plays.
It was a little intimidating, you know. I knew there was going to be a lot of studying going on, you know, when I first got the book. Looking at him, if he gets depth off the ball and takes away that, our miles will come straight backside to try to hit the dig. And in this window here, I've had to put a lot of time and effort into watching film and, you know, keeping my head in the playbook and just trying to learn the offense.
In your mind, would you be ready Sunday night if you had to?
I think so. I mean, I could go out, you know, run the offense, get the team in the right play. You know, sure, there would be some mistakes and things, but I think that would be typical for a rookie quarterback. But I feel confident I could play if something, you know, happened to tie.
Tim Couch is not going to get an opportunity to start tonight against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But as Coach Palmer has said, he left it open to competition who was going to have the job. And it turned out being Ty Detmer. He's the more veteran. He's the guy that's going to open tonight. But don't be surprised, Stuart, if the game starts to get away a little bit, if we don't see Tim Couch, not only in this game, as the season goes on, we'll see a little bit more of him. And I personally think he's got a terrific opportunity to be somebody very special in the National Football League.
All right, Joe, we appreciate your thoughts, and we will see you tonight. It's called a segue. Because tonight, not to toot our own horn, what the heck, we will. Our first NFL game of the year, Sunday Night Football on ESPN, a thick AFC Central rivalry reborn. Join Mike Patrick, Joe, and Paul McGuire. Steelers-Browns tonight, 8 p.m., 8:15 exactly on ESPN. Still up on Sunday NFL Countdown, 1,458 yards from the all-time rushing record. Barry left and left the Lions lurching. The fellas, maybe a step slower than their 3 Super Bowl days, but Troy Emmett, the playmaker, still have magic. And Vinny Testaverde, he went from being stand-up comedy material to the highest-rated QB in the AFC. And if Gary Anderson would have made the only field goal last year that he missed, oh, revenge on the Vikings' mind.
Today's Sports Century Classic Moment is brought to you by Burger King.
We had a special play that we thought would be successful because nobody thinks that the quarterback is going to be a receiver. And he's eligible in this situation. And Tony Nathan got the ball and did a good job of making it look like a sweep to the right, stopped and threw the ball across the field to Woodley, who was wide open for a touchdown. It hadn't been done before, and I don't think it's been done since.
That was September 12th, 1982.
At Burger King, we're always trying to make have it your way better. Like this idea for a win-your-way college football game.
2 more tries!
Run back a kickoff and win great prizes. Then we thought, why not just scratch and win? This week, Penn State and Miami face off, and you could win $1 million, a Toyota RAV4, or the best tasting prize of all, a delicious Whopper. Burger King. When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Sunday NFL Countdown. Just as much fun as it ever was. Back to the NFC title rematch, Minnesota at Atlanta. It was all set up. Vikings fans had their plane reservations to Miami, suntan all being wrapped up in purple. Championship game at home where a month earlier the Vikings had beaten the Jags, for example, 50-10. Just a mere formality, right? But a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. Here's Kenny Mayne.
3 teams have been 15-1 in the history of the National Football League. All right, give yourselves a round of applause.
Last season was magical for Minnesota. The Vikings broke through and broke out, enjoying a courtship with the end zone, the intensity of which the league had never seen.
Brady Buchanan cannot guard me. No, I know that.
What they didn't know is how quickly it would all come crashing down.
The hold, the kick, it's on the way, it's up, and it's good! The Falcons are going to the Super Bowl!
We hadn't watched the film until now. And got to a point where I said, Ray, I don't want to watch any more of this. Because, you know, you have a game won, and then whatever happens, you just don't get there. And it really does hurt.
You don't
play 60 minutes, you don't win.
They played better than we played. I mean, we dropped passes, we dropped interceptions, we fumbled the ball, we give up sacks.
We didn't finish the game like we could have. And, you know, time ran out on us. Time ran out on us.
Did you go to the Super Bowl last year?
Yes. I didn't actually go to the game, though.
Don't want to see it. I've seen enough football.
I watched like a quarter, and that was it. And I turned it off, and it really hurt at the time. It did. At the time, it really did hurt.
8 months and endless thoughts later, Fate and the schedule makers have the Vikings face-to-face with the Falcons. And it would seem the past.
I think the National Football League loves this type of drama.
The NFL is about distractions. And the more you pay attention to it, the more distracted you get. And I won't see this interview. I won't see the articles because I don't choose to read them. You choose to get distracted. You don't get distracted. I'm trying to win football games. I'm not trying to read what anybody else thinks about the prospects of a replay of the championship game. That means absolutely nothing to me.
Winning this game doesn't necessarily mean that we are the best team in the league. What it means is that we're 1-0.
No win will settle. It's just one game. It's just one game, and our goal is, you know, to win our division, you know, win our conference, try to win as many games as possible, get home field advantage, and Atlanta is a part of that now.
I just go in looking at it, this is another team, a new beginning, and another chance of going to the Super Bowl.
Big dogs are in the house!
Last year when we played them, the objective was win this one game in the Super Bowl. So regardless, they'll never be the same. They'll never be the same.
I don't even want to conceive losing this year. I don't want to think about it. I just want to make sure that each time we step on the football field, we're doing everything we can.
Well, thank you, Kenny. They had a great year with a bad ending, and I think you can see the seeds of that championship game defeat against Arizona. We talked about it last year. I know Tommy and I did on primetime that they're kind of fooling around with single wings, even though they beat that team by 20. And then I think more they get their halves mixed up. At the end of the first half, they need to be cautious. At the end of the game, they needed to be bold, and they got them mixed up, and I think it hurt them. And at the Pro Bowl, we talked to all the players. Robert Smith in particular says, I can't wait for training camp to start. Could they really wait? Are they that excited? Or
no, this preseason, I think they were out of sync. I think there's reason to be concerned about the Vikings. You go back to that game against the Falcons in January. Remember, the Atlanta Falcons got after Randall Cunningham. They protected him so clean all year long. In that game, the defensive front, I think one of the most underrated units in football, Lester Archambault and Travis Hall and Chuck Smith and Shane Drenay, they did not give Randall Cunningham time to throw. If that happens again today, I think the Vikings lose.
I think you're exactly right. Not to mention what they did in the secondary, talking about the Atlanta Falcons. The one thing they did was disrupt the timing of Randall Cunningham and threw off the stride of Randy Moss. We saw things in this game that we weren't accustomed to seeing during the course of the year. Right here, Randall Cunningham throwing the ball over the top. Hard to believe he underthrows Randy Moss right here. Right here, Randy Moss in the end zone for what is pretty sure to be a touchdown, dropped the football. And what they were able to do was disrupt timing because they kept changing up their defenses, and they took chances. And when you take chances, you're going to win some, and you're going to lose some. And that day, the Atlanta Falcons won some.
I think people should get off Gary Anderson's back, by the way. If you think that the one field goal that he misses is the reason they're not in the Super Bowl, I think. He doesn't have a big back. Oh, that's what I mean. He's a little guy. Look out for the little guys. That's all, Mark. Oh. Let's go back now to the, speaking of back, somebody said that. Back to the Patriots and the Jets. It was a storybook season, certainly, for Vinny Testaverde. Back in his native New York, leading the Jets almost all the way to the Super Bowl, leading himself to the Pro Bowl. But a month after that, an abrupt change for Vinny, as his dad, Al, with whom he was very close, passed away. Susie Colbert, Vinny's got a few things on his mind today.
Play in person or even on live TV since Vinny's pro debut in 1987. At that game, Al Testaverde suffered a heart attack in the stands at Tampa Stadium. Well, last January, when the Jets made the AFC Championship game, Al actually joked that if the Jets won, he'd be sitting in the stands at the Super Bowl. Why risk it? Well, he said if he was going to die, that's how he would want to go, with a smile on his face.
Testaverde drops back to throw. Touchdown! Touchdown, New York Jets! A wonderfully thrown ball by Testaverde.
I look back at last year and how exciting it was, and I'm just very glad that things went the way they did for a number of reasons. And the biggest is that, you know, my father passing in February was able to enjoy all that excitement that we had a year ago.
Al Testaverde was Vinny's best friend and biggest fan. Together, they celebrated the success, like the Heisman in '86.
Dad, we dreamed it together, we lived it together, and tonight I could probably say that we won it together.
And Vinny's first Pro Bowl appearance a decade later, a rare opportunity to see his son play in person. They also suffered through 10 losing seasons, until in storybook fashion, the boy from Elmont, New York came home. Bill Parcells' system fit, and so did his roots.
He reminds me a lot of my father in the same traits and the same way he carries himself and goes about his daily stuff.
We just have similar upbringings, that's all. We come from the same background, generally the same location, the same type of family, the same basic heritage. So, I mean, I identify with him. We've kind of kidded around where you had to sit at the kitchen table when you were there. You know, there was a certain way that the family does it, and his was the same, you know, and that's the way it is.
I had the opportunity to work with my father on a lot of his construction jobs. Much the way I work with Coach Parcells on the field, a lot of the things they do are very similar in working with my father working with his men on the job and Coach working with the players. Demanding results, and when he gets it, he's pleased, but when he doesn't, he's a bear to be around.
Vinny tested that temper as he got off to a slow start this summer. Al had become a fixture at every practice, and Vinny was distracted by his absence.
We understand that, you know, he's going to go through a little tough time early in the season, especially because his dad meant so much to him. But at the same time, Vinny's going to be professional, and he's going to do what he's supposed to do.
Immerse himself in his job, his family, and his father's lessons.
My role model has always been my father, a man that I've always looked up to because of the way he's handled himself in certain situations, the way he's raised his family, the way he taught us about life.
For anyone's dad to be able to say that his life was fulfilled for what his son did, like, who could possibly ask for more than that?
Well, it's a good feeling to know that you know, he was a very happy man and enjoyed what I did for a living, enjoyed in taking pride in the success that I had and that we had as a team a year ago.
Just 1 week before Al passed away, Jets quarterback coach Dan Henning called him. He just wanted to tell Al that of all the years he had coached, he felt that Vinny's season was the finest of any QB he had ever coached. And Jim, that was the moment to cherish for Vinny and his dad. Everything that Vinny had gone through didn't matter.
That's exactly right, Susie, because everybody knows they love to be as close like Vinny was to his father. That's the way I was with my father. And I spoke to Dan Henning. He says, Vinny's the type of quarterback that's going to go in there, have fun. His priorities are exactly in order. No ego. But one thing he said he had to do was get Vinny ready for Sundays. He said one thing that impressed him and jumped out more than anything last year was Vinny Testaverde on third down efficiency, ranked #1 in the National Football League. 10 touchdowns, and most importantly, 0 interceptions.
Wow. Well, he played some great football last year, and he was the beneficiary of the philosophy of Bill Parcells in running the football. It is not necessarily for per carry average. It is about creating in the mind of the defense the thought that we are going to run the football. It opens up play action down the football field. The Jets ran the ball 500 times on the nose last year. Bill Parcells told me this week he plans to do the same thing this year. Now, let's see. Ted Johnson, one of the better run stoppers, middle linebacker for the Patriots, out of the game. Andy Katzenmoyer, great All-American college player, proven nothing in the pros. What could happen there?
My favorite. Might have a few antennas. Ray Walston will even be pleased. By the way, no Crabette, of course, for 6 weeks, but that Dedrick Ward, who now starts, big play guy, had the big catching in that big Buffalo game on the road last year. So Jets, you think I want to report that? Jets have lots of weapons. Great piece, Susie. With the Jets at home, the Giants now hit the road at the new Sombrero to face the Buccaneers. New York and Tampa Bay really had similar seasons. Playoff teams in 97, 8-8 in 98, but not without signs that last year they really were a lot better. The Giants, remember, ended Denver's 13-0 run. They won 5 of their last 6. The Bucs, the only team to beat the Vikings all year, they split with the Packers. They also beat the Giants 20-3 last season, as Bucs defensive back Rondé Barber got bragging rights over twin brother Giants running back Tiki Barber. Tampa Bay buoyed by a 4-0 preseason. By the way, the offense, which people question, they had 117 points in the preseason. That's the most. Warren Sapp, lighter and even quicker. Ahead on NFL Countdown, we head out to Green Bay to see what the season holds for Brett Favre without Mike Holmgren, without Robert Brooks, but pretty good rest of the cast. And Joey Galloway, wide receiver Seahawks, joins us live, but not from Seattle. We'll talk to him about it. Stay with us.
Welcome to My Mailboxes, etc. You know, this may look like a regular mailbox, but let me tell you the secret. You get a street address, not just a P.O. box number. That means we can sign for your FedEx shipments and other packages. You get an entire support staff. Where else are you going to be able to call and check your mail? I mean, come on, who's going to do that for you? We'll also forward that mail anywhere in the world. Mailboxes, etc. We're making business easier. We're making life easier. Can your mailbox do that?
Kick off the NFL season today with DirecTV and Circuit City. When you buy a DirecTV system at Circuit City and subscribe to NFL Sunday Ticket and DirecTV's Total Choice Platinum programming, you'll score 3 free months of Total Choice Platinum and see DirecTV's official program guide, a savings of over $250. With NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV, you'll get over 200 regular season games. That's up to 13 games every Sunday. Save today at Circuit City.
Well, look at this. Young entrepreneurs selling delicious beverages. 99 cents. When I was a kid, lemonade was a lot cheaper. Of course, there's not much you can get for 99 cents these days. Oh, wait. I'm insane. There's 10-10-220. With 10-10-220, all calls up to 20 minutes are just 99 cents. And just 9 cents a minute after that, no matter when you call.
One K-Cup?
Sure, why not? Delicious.
Dial 10-10-220.
Peter from the Plank Road Brewery. We wanted to thank the Buttsius for drinking our beers. The glorious, never-watered-down taste of nectar we call Ice House. And we spend 80 hours a week here. But for us, it's a labor of love. It's a gift. It's a craft. It's an art.
Like macrame.
So, anyways, thanks for drinking our beers. Enjoy. What can we say? Out here, our world is beer.
Sometimes I get distracted. Once, I missed the beginning of NFL Tonight. I took my knowledge for granted, and it started to go away. Now, my knowledge is back. That makes me happy.
Welcome back to Sunday NFL Countdown. Oakland and Green Bay do not meet very often. They are linked, of course, by history to Super Bowl II. Today they tangle on the not-yet-frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And at home, Brett Favre, an obscene 53-6 as a starter in the regular and postseason games. The 8-8 Raiders, meanwhile, turned to Rich Gannon at quarterback this season. The 11-5 Packers, undefeated in the preseason, have a new coach and head coach in Ray Rhodes, who was their defensive coordinator there in the early 90s when now Raiders head coach John Gruden also was a Packer assistant on Mike Holmgren's first coaching staff. Familiarity may not breed contempt, but there is a game to win. Never, ever breeding contempt. Our Mike Golan. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Boom. It's a gray day here in the Dairyland where the Packers look kind of like Swiss cheese, meaning they have some holes to fill. They lost wide receiver Robert Brooks to retirement head coach Mike Holmgren to Seattle. So new coach Ray Rhodes has given the keys to the offense to coordinator Sherm Lewis. The plan, take this offensive machine and step on the gas.
Sherm Lewis really opened up the playbook. You know, it's just open for whatever now. And whereas when Mike Holmgren was here, it was a little more squished together.
We're going to throw it 30-something times a game on an average, I would think. That's pretty high. But we use that as a ball control weapon for us.
Even though you're throwing the ball, we're eating the clock up.
The biggest hole of all on defense, where new coordinator Emmett Thomas needs to craft a game plan that won't include the game's all-time sack leader, Reggie White.
That's a lot of sacks. And that's something that's going to be very hard to replace. But I think the leadership, I mean, we got me, so take care of that. Forget about it.
I don't think of myself for really replacing him. You know, I'm just the next guy in line. I don't think anybody could ever step in the shoes of Reggie White. He led by example, and I'm just happy to have the opportunity to play behind him.
Oakland's defense was dominant in the preseason, allowing only about 10 points per game. But now, here comes Brett Favre and Antonio Freeman.
The thing about Favre is he's confident in his abilities, and he tries his best to, you know, display that he's a tough guy, and, you know, no matter what, the hits aren't going to bother him. But the fact is that, you know, I don't care what you say, a hit's going to hurt. And the fact is that I put him on quarterback, so I'm going to do whatever I can to get to him.
It's kind of like that, kind of like a hit and miss, you know what I'm saying? Either you cover him and you let the defensive line get to the quarterback, or you don't cover him and then they beat you for a touchdown.
With the trade of Craig Newsome, Mike McKenzie becomes the first rookie to start at cornerback for Green Bay since, well, Craig Newsome in '95. Also in the nickel package, another rookie, Antoine Edwards, will come in at safety. And Sterling, I know you'd be licking your chops if you lined up across the field from a couple of rooks.
Well, you're exactly right, because that's what you want, an opportunity to catch a lot of passes, get out the gate, get your team started early, making plays. I think the secondary advantage goes to the Oakland Raiders with two veterans now, with Charles Woodson now having a year. Two veterans goes to the Oakland Raiders. The offensive line for both teams will be thoroughly tested today because of the blitzing by both teams. Oakland gave up 67 sacks last season. Ray Rose, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, wasn't happy with his preseason view of his offensive line. But I think it all is going to boil down to two people. It's going to be Rich Gannon and Brett Favre. And Brett Favre has a lot more input in game planning this year than he did last.
And there's a lot of, if you're going to like the Packers this year, it's going to be because of Brett Favre. And I think you have to go back to Brett's offseason. Brett addressed a lot of issues in his life, and he will tell you alcohol was one of those issues. He's cut it out of his life. He's dropped 20 pounds. He's studying film more, and I think the Packers are pretty excited about what they've got in that quarterback. Not that he wants to be just a great quarterback who went to the Super Bowl. He wants to be one of the all-time best. I think he has a chance to do it.
No question about that. The couple things you should remember about Green Bay. They got three McKenzie with this Mike McKenzie. Three McKenzies playing, not to mention Pat McKenzie, the position. It means the McKenzie brothers. And the other thing to remember is Bonnie Holiday. Big-time season. Yes. Big-time season, Bonnie Holiday. We are cuckoo sometimes. At any rate, gone from Green Bay, where he turned a 4-12 team into a Super Bowl champion, is Mike Holmgren, who is now being asked to do the same in Seattle. The Seahawks have not been to the playoffs since 1988. Now, that's the longest drought in the league, 88. But at 8-8 last year, I mean, they are hardly the Three Sisters of the Poor. They are a postseason force waiting to happen, even if it's with a young quarterback, John Kitna. But don't forget, Kitna 4-2 as a starter last year. Only 2 losses, Denver and to the Jets in that contested Vinny touchdown game. Into town come the 5-11 Detroit Lions, now without Barry Sanders. The pieces are in place for Seattle, except for a very big piece. The best player never to make a Pro Bowl, Joey Galloway. Stu, he's not holding out on us, is he?
No, he is with us. And I tell you what, Joey Galloway, one of the few men in the history of this league, sorry, Sterling, who've been able to cover 40 yards in 4.2 seconds.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
But the only place that Joey Galloway has been running lately has been the Woody Hayes Center in Columbus, Ohio. The guy not in Seattle's camp. Joey Galloway, 41 touchdowns in just 4 years, is holding out. He has not been in camp all year. He says he was promised a contract extension before this season, but that was before new head coach Mike Holmgren came to town. Galloway staying in shape, waiting for something to happen. And Joey would probably rather be spatting his cleats right now than sitting at home talking to us, but here he is. Joey, thanks for hanging out. As Boomer just said, you're the best player never to make a Pro Bowl. Now, you might be in Hawaii come February, but if this keeps up, you won't be playing. What has to be done to get you into camp?
Well, first off, we need to start talks again. You know, there hasn't been too many talks going on since they gave us the ultimatum of, you know, either accept their offer or nothing. So, you know, the first thing would help if we began talking again. And I think we can reach an agreement, but both sides have to be fair.
Now, on paper, a lot of people would say that Mike Holmgren's a perfect fit for you. Since he was offensive coordinator at San Francisco a decade ago, he's had a guy either lead the league in catches or receiving yards or both 5 times. Sterling Sharp, Antonio Freeman, and that Rice guy. Don't you want that?
I definitely want that, but at the same time, you know as well as I do that this is a business now. You know, this is the way I pay my bills.
My first loyalty is to my family. You know, I have people to take care of on this end of it. So, you know, from that standpoint, I have to take care of those things first and then the football end of it.
Has there been anything that's happened in the last 24 hours that at least gives you hope that this thing might get done soon?
Not at all. You know, the only thing that's really happened is I spoke to my brothers, and next Sunday I'll be playing flag football.
Now, a lot of people would say, all right, we know that you took a $300,000 salary cut this year because you thought your deal would get reworked, but still, you're under contract. Get into camp. What do you say about that?
Well, you know, from a business standpoint, I want to be paid what the market shows. You know, and right now, there's been a number of guys who play my position who have received the longer contracts, and that's what I want. I want to be in Seattle. I want to sign the long deal. I want to play in Coach Holmgren's offense. I want all those things, but for that to happen, both sides have to come together and get something done.
Joey, obvious question. Are you willing to sit out the entire year if this thing doesn't happen the way that you think it should?
I'm definitely willing. You know, football is very important to me, but it's not my life. You know, like I said, next Sunday I'll be playing flag football with my brothers. I'm not going to sit around and mope about this thing. I'm going to continue to work out like I've been doing, hoping that it does get done because I'd love to be playing right now. But if it doesn't work out that way, I'm absolutely fine.
All right, Joey, get 7 guys if this thing doesn't work out, and the 7 of us will take you and your brothers on in flag football. Joey Galloway averaged 38 yards per touchdown catch last year. Thanks for the time. I mentioned it. The Bengals, they locked up their all-time leading receiver, Carl Pickens, to a brand-new deal. 5 years, $23.25 million. Cincinnati plays Tennessee today. The Titans, with new uniforms and a new home, Adelphia Stadium, their 4th different stadium in 4 years. Yes, guys, it's home. Go ahead and unpack. Still ahead. He won a Super Bowl, threw tantrums, had a heart attack. Chill out, and head coach, don't make good bedfellows.
Let's go! Hey, Ronnie! Let's go!
Also ahead, both have dreadlocks. Edgerrin James went before Ricky in the draft. Which one's going to have the most flavor during the year?
Hey, ESPN, happy 20th. One more year and you can drink.
I can always tell when I'm in New York.
You are like the ultimate guy.
On September 17th.
Don't smile at me, Davis. I hate that.
You've got to beat the best.
You're in the zone.
To be the best. For love of the game. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Working with a great actor is like tennis. It pushes you. It makes you better. Working with Buddy Lee is even more challenging. It's like racquetball by yourself in a very small room. Usually there's a line between the image and who that person really is. With Buddy Lee, it's like there's no line. If there is, it's been deleted or erased. Or, you know how sometimes you can white it out with that stuff? Yeah, that's who Buddy Lee is.
Lee Dungarees. Can't bust him. Love at first sight. What's that based on? Have you ever looked at someone and said, check her out, she looks loyal? Or, whoa, look at the morals on that guy. No, love at first sight is based on something else. Sight. Introducing the all-new 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Nicely equipped at 17.7. You'll even love what's on the inside.
It's my mom's birthday. She's in Washington. I don't know what to get her. What'll make her happy?
Hearing from you. Come on. So dial 1-800-CALL-ATT and call her collect. It's the same low rate every minute, everywhere. Now 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. Hi, Mama. It's your daughter-in-law.
Hey, working hard or hardly working? Steve Marino, hey, how's it going, fella?
Feeling hungry can affect your mood. That's why there's Balance Bar. It puts great taste, balanced nutrition, and sustained energy in the palm of your hand. Never be out of balance.
Ranger Rex here to help keep you prepared for any shopping situation. Shopping can get pretty extreme, so always wear proper gear. Have the right equipment, and protect yourself from the elements. And to be totally prepared, remember to carry a shopper's best friend, your Visa card.
Because at REI, the country's most exciting adventure store, you can hike, bike, climb, and kayak.
You just can't use American Express.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave, sir.
Visa, get everywhere you want to be.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. Log on to ESPN.com for more Inside the Numbers.
Let's go inside the numbers. By September 12th of last year, Ricky Williams had already rushed for 375 yards and 9 touchdowns in just 2 games for the Texas Longhorns. Now, fast forward 365 days. Today, the 98 Heisman Trophy winner is set to make his NFL debut in the New Orleans Superdome for the Saints. His opponent, last year's worst-ranked defense in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers, a unit that finished the paltry 26th against the run. Those numbers bode well for Williams, and so may history. The last 3 Heisman running backs, Barry Sanders in 1989, Rashaan Salam in 1995, and Eddie George in 96, all cracked the 1,000-yard barrier as rookies. All in all, a total of 7 Heisman winners have rushed for 1,000 yards in their rookie season. In fact, Williams might be in for quite an afternoon. In league history, the 3 best opening day rushing performances were all accomplished by former Heisman winners. O.J. Simpson ran for 250 yards in 1973 against the Patriots. Eddie George, only 2 years ago, glided past the Raiders for 216 yards. And ex-St. George Rogers totaled 206 yards against the Cardinals in 1983. A feat accomplished at the Superdome. Well, while Ricky hopes to lose that number with the Saints, one number ahead of him in the draft at number 4 overall, the Indianapolis Colts raised some eyebrows. Bill Polian selected running back Edgerrin James instead. This preseason, it's been James that's raised all the eyebrows, giving the 3-13 Colts in year 2 with Peyton Manning at quarterback hopes of earning a wild card spot in the playoffs, even if they do play in the most brutal division of football, the AFC East. Test number 1 at home against 10-6 Buffalo, with Doug Flutie beginning the year as a starter, not Miracle Freak Show. Also starting, Bruce Smith, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, 3 proud veterans who still have the ability and the drive to excel. Unlike that old quarterback that wore number 12.
Easy.
What was his name? We don't forget our old quarterback. Oh, yeah, that guy. We don't forget our old quarterback, Ron Jaworski. Jaws?
Thank you, Boomer. It's opening day, and I'm going to go out on a limb early and guarantee one of your highlights on NFL Primetime tonight will be Edgerrin James. After studying the coaching tapes of James in the preseason, I cannot remember a rookie running back being as impressive.
Well, the first time I saw him play, I couldn't believe how quick he was. He's unbelievably quick. You know, he reads the hole, and he's there in an instant, and he can stop on a dime. He's tough. He's everything.
He's a combination of Barry and Emmett and Thurman. You know, he has, you know, Barry's ability to be able to cut at any time. He has Thurman tenacity and Emmett's power.
The Colts believe this could be the start of something special for their 3 offensive stars, James, Peyton Manning, and wideout Marvin Harrison.
And you've seen it happen in the past. I mean, you've seen Troy and Emmett and Urban play together for a long time, and that's kind of what we have, we hope to have here.
When you have a record like the Colts had last year, you have to have somebody step up. You can't just sit and wait on it. The time is right now.
Ron, as you know, as a quarterback, you got to kind of take control, and I do feel more comfortable this year kind of being more of a leader after what all happened last year.
The Colts are relatively healthy, while the Bills will be without the services of offensive guard Joe Panos, who is out with a bulging disc in his back. And Bruce Smith returns to the starting lineup for the Buffalo Bills after missing the final exhibition game to be with his critically ill father. And Boomer, Bruce Smith said he's very thankful to his many fans, friends, and teammates for being very supportive in a very difficult time.
Well, no, everybody out there and in here certainly feels the same way, Jaws. Well, Edgerrin James, it looked like Rick James, by the way, there. Quite a player.
Well, and you heard Peyton Manning talk about the big 3, and I think when you look at the preseason that Marvin Harrison had, and you look at Edgerrin James, over 6 yards per carry during the preseason, and his preseason versus Ricky Williams. You saw another guy play about 9 plays, rush the ball 9 times. You saw Edgerrin James get his work done. I think it'll show today and for the rest of the season, actually.
For Buffalo, offense designed around Doug Flutie, which will be fun. They are thrilled to death with quarterback. On defensive line, they got like 6, 7 players. Defensive, but they had a great draft, the Bills, and you'll be hearing a lot of those names right away. Winfield, Peerless, Price, etc. Well, here is an opener with a great ring to it. Dallas at Washington. How about them Cowboys? They are, at 10-6, the defending NFC East champs, although, since they lost in the opening round of the playoffs to NFC East brethren Arizona, I mean, they don't really have that division champ glow. But if Chan Gailey's Cowboys of a year ago became only the 3rd team, 27 teams in the last 2 decades to have a winless preseason and make the playoffs? I mean, this year they went 1-4. It should be easy, right? Is the sky the limit? After all those names with the 3 rings on their fingers are still there. And what's the limit for the Redskins, though? New owner, 24 new front office personnel, including new GM, a win or else dictum, but new quarterback Brad Johnson, a great draft pick in Champ Bailey, and a good but not great division means division championship for Washington is possible. Brad Johnson will not have to worry about throwing against Deion Sanders today. Let's go to Washington and Ed Werder. Ed?
Outside the Cowboys locker room, Deion Sanders not going to play today. Deion, how bad is the foot, and how close were you able to making this game?
I'm not going to say it's terribly bad. I'm going to say it's healing. I mean, I'm getting close. Until I could give my teammates what they're expected of me and give the fans what they expect and give myself what I expect, I cannot do it.
Is this an injury that still scares you?
No, it don't scare me. I mean, I just got to learn to trust my toe a little more because I still feel the pain. I'm going to have to play with pain. I know that. But I don't want to do nothing, and we don't want to do nothing to set me backwards and avoid all the hard work and determination that we've had thus far.
What about next week, Monday night against Atlanta?
I know everybody's going to be hyping that up since it's my old team, my old rivalry, you know, that is dear in my heart. And is he going to play? He's waiting to be in the spotlight on Monday night. I want to play and help this team when I'm capable of doing what I'm accustomed to do. I got some high standards out there.
All right, Deion Sanders will be replaced today by Charlie Williams. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. Mort, many others, all of us this week have been reporting Leon Lett. The suspension would probably be 6 to 8 games, but we just spoke with league officials a couple of moments ago. They said a final decision will be made later on in this coming week, so we will know, and Dallas will know for sure. Still to come. They came in together in 1983. Jim shows us a different side of Dan Marino. And stress, a common thread between head coaches. But what are the dangers and how do they cope? Stay with us.
Live from Music City, BMG Music Service presents the CMA Awards Backstage Pass. And go. Live!
We're coming to your house.
It's gonna be hot. On direct ticket.
Be there or we're going to take your TV.
It's the hottest ticket in town. Presented by BMG Music Service. You'll go backstage with country's biggest stars for candid interviews, live performances, and all the backstage action.
What backstage pass?
I'm the host of the show. CMA Awards Backstage Pass. Tuesday, September 21st, the night before the CMA Awards.
Rarely does a film come along that excites the soul, warms the heart, and sparks the flame of passion. The epic tale of romance.
Master Shakespeare, the writer of plays that capture my heart.
Passion and love.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
Join Academy Award winner Gwyneth Paltrow, Joseph Fiennes.
I love you.
Shakespeare in Love, playing now on DirecTV.
You know, I'm real excited about the brand new 6 p.m. Sports Center. I just don't feel the need to make a lot of changes and shake things up. Take a lesson from the Flintstones, like when they brought that little green guy Kazoo in. What's up with that?
Since 1851, the Bristol University School of Football has been an intellectual haven for asking questions and seeking answers. A place which challenges and enlightens young minds in the academic pursuit of football. Led by Dean Berman, the faculty prepares students to meet the challenges of the 21st century and beyond.
Here at Bristol University, we seek veritas, or the truth.
The Bristol University School of Football.
Welcome back to Sunday NFL Countdown. An NFL game with another great ring to it. Baltimore at St. Louis. Johnny Unitas, Baltimore Colts. Jim Hart, St. Louis Cardinals. No, it's the Baltimore Ravens at the St. Louis Rams. The Ravens are hopeful under new head coach Brian Billick. I mean, they were 4-0 in the preseason. 2/3 of the undefeated team in the preseason, the 80s and 90s, make the playoffs. The Rams are hopeful with a backfield of Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner. That's the former Seahawk, who twice ran for 1,400 yards. Quarterback Kurt Warner, who threw 183 touchdown passes in 3 years with the Arena League's Iowa Barnstormers. Maybe some excitement with this Kurt Warner, but Stu, definite excitement with Jake the Snake Plummer for Arizona.
I think it's exciting when Jake the Snake Plummer just wakes up in the morning. In just 2 years, Jake the Snake, 9 come-from-behind victories, more than Marino and Elway had at the same time in their careers combined. Fat stat. But as Plummer says, you know, if I make better decisions early, then we're not coming back from behind in the fourth quarter. Cards at Philly today. Arizona's 12th straight year opening on the road. They've lost 7 straight opening day games. Eagles with the new coach, Andy Reid. And Reid, one of 6 neophyte coaches in the NFL. When the Chiefs and Bears jump in Chicago today, you'll see 2 more. Dick Jauron for the Bears, Gunther Cunningham for KC. The cautionary tale for these rookies is that coaches often get so wrapped up in their 90-hour work week jobs that their families suffer. Dick Vermeil tells a story of when he was with the Eagles watching game film one Monday. He realized his son had grown up so much he barely recognized him. And it's even worse today since there's virtually no off-season due to free agency and minicamps. As we head back to Atlanta and Andrea Kramer. Andrea, interesting. A lot of times the best way to describe these jobs is just pressure cooker.
Absolutely, Stuart. I visited with about 20 NFL head coaches about the issue of stress in their profession, and the consensus was it's stronger today than ever. Impatient owners who have paid millions for franchises want to win now, so there's more coaching turnover. Consider that Dennis Green and Bill Cowher are the deans of NFL head coaches, and they've been with the same team for only 8 years.
Concentrate! Go! You gotta make that play!
Although it's far from healthy, it's hard to argue with this combination of stress and success. Bill Parcells, 2 Super Bowl wins, 4 heart procedures. Mike Ditka, 1 Super Bowl ring, 3 heart procedures, and 1 in-season heart attack. And Dan Reeves, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 2 heart procedures, including an emergency quadruple bypass last December.
When someone came in and said something about Dan, I was sitting there with a bag of potato chips in my hand, and and I said, I kind of threw that away and grabbed some water and said, I think we're going to go down and work out. So, I mean, to me, those are the signs you better look at and say, listen, if you don't watch it, that could be you.
You keep putting it off because you don't want to admit it. See, because that makes you feel, weak. I mean, I got a heart problem, right? And it's so silly, because we take ourselves to be such macho guys, and, well, we can't be hurt. I mean, how could Iron Mike be hurt? I mean, it is true, we are.
Doctors say chronic stress may be linked to heart disease, immune deficiency, even memory loss. While some coaches insist their jobs are no more taxing than other high-paying, high-profile positions, the reality is, during the course of a game, a coach's heart rate could actually be higher than it is during strenuous exercise, according to Dr. Charles Brown, who's Dan Reeves' cardiologist.
The unique aspect of coaching versus another profession would be the game, because the intensity of that stress that, say, may be present throughout a normal businessman's working week is concentrated and amplified into one short segment of time.
At times, do I feel like my heart may stop? Yeah, I mean, I do. There's times when you feel like that in a ball game.
I think everybody looks at it and says, I need to check and make sure that I don't have the same symptoms that Dan. It's important that you get the physical.
I've never been one to waste time on physicals. And I am telling you the truth. I have no time for golf or physicals or any of those things.
Gunther Cunningham is the newest of the hot responders. When he was hired as Chiefs head coach in January, the club insisted he be contractually obligated to an annual physical.
If I die, I hope it's on a football field. And I mean that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I guess I don't love anything quite that much where I'd say that's the way I want to die. I love my job. I enjoy it. Football's been great, but again, it's just a small part of me and a small part of what I do.
I don't do anything else. This is what I do, and I love it intensely. And I think if I were to have a heart attack, I hope it's on the football field, and that's it.
I don't want to do that. No. I don't want to ever get caught up in that being that important. But I understand what he's saying.
If you're going to be the very best, you can't just do it halfway, and you can't just do it 40 hours a week. Now, if you have a total commitment on something, you're going to sacrifice in some other areas.
Johnson's commitment to winning in his 34 years as a coach meant very little time for his family. But when his mother, Aileen, died last December, he began to realize what his single-mindedness had cost him, and he nearly resigned from the Dolphins.
I said at the time that I was going to pull back and I was going to spend more time with my family, but since that period of time, everything's the same. I go in the office every day. I do everything just like I've always done it, and so that I don't know that anything's changed. But at least I thought about spending more time with my family.
Can you understand that?
Yeah, because that's what his life is. I mean, that's the only thing he knows. That's the only way he knows how to coach, is be there, hands-on, and be involved.
Many NFL head coaches live by the mantra, that which does not kill me makes me stronger. And they follow their proven formula for success regardless of the ramifications.
I mean, you've been successful because you've done things a certain way. I think you're so scared if you don't do it that way. I mean, as long as I'm involved, I want to be as much a hands-on type guy as I've always been. If I wasn't involved in it, that would be more stressful to me. I think that would kill me quicker than me being in the game and doing what I love to do.
When Dan Reeves is on the sidelines today, he'll be taking beta blockers, medication which is standard therapy for heart disease patients. The intent is to slow the heart rate's response to physical and emotional stress. And Stuart, as we know, there is plenty of that on game day.
On game day and all week. Andrea, thank you very much. Marty, you know, you ask most coaches, what's your hobby? They start talking about a handicap. And some people say Gunther Cunningham's handicap is his thought process. In the official NFL release, Cunningham lists his hobby. His hobby is coaching. Can you say uptight?
I find it disappointing. I had never seen the piece, frankly, before, but you know, Gunther's fighting a real internal battle in my view. I think he understands the principles as it relates to stress. He understands that you've got an opportunity, if you'll be organized and work your way through things, that all things get done. Unfortunately, there's another axiom in coaching, and that is you have to be yourself. Well, clearly Gunther is one of those hot personalities, if you will. Unfortunately, it's ultimately going to get you. I believe if you want an opportunity to be successful in this league, you better delegate and you better make sure that you organize yourself. You're going to have a problem otherwise.
You think stress is coaching. Stress is trying to talk on TV with a fly buzzing around your head. That's stress. That's stress. Thanks a lot, Marty. Still ahead, the quarterback on the verge of 60,000 passing yards talks about getting on the other end of the ball.
You are a receiver. Would you be a deep threat or a possession receiver?
I would probably be a possession receiver.
Why?
Because I can't run.
I've always been set in my ways. So when Subaru told me they were changing my Outback, I was a tad concerned. Truth is, they just made it better. This next generation Outback's got a stylish new body, quieter ride, and their best all-wheel driving system ever. Sort of inspired me to make a few changes. I think this works. The new Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon from Subaru.
For about the price of an ordinary hotel, Residence Inn gives you a full kitchen, a living room, and 50% more space. Out. What you do with all that extra space is up to you. Residence Inn by Marriott. Room to relax, room to work, room to breathe. Residence Inn proudly serves up the powerful AT&T network. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for your calling needs. Anywhere, anytime.
Every day he works on his speed. He works on his agility. And he works on his power. So when Sunday comes around, he makes the other team work.
Rubber spits on mesh in history. Aisles of power lines jump and jolt, jump and jolt. Knots of intestines and red stripes unwind, leaving 50 states stapled by a single slap shot. We see it.
Sports Center of the Decade, Friday at 7:30 on ESPN. Presented by General Motors.
Welcome back to Sunday NFL Countdown. Jim, the class of 1983, the quarterback class, you guys are the most celebrated ever. Dan Marino, the last one standing.
You were with him. Is he still as feisty as he's always been?
He is, and he's always been that way. I mean, ever since I've known him. I spent a lot of time with Dan in 17 years, and I asked him some off-the-wall questions. Yes, he seems focused and seems loose, only the way a great quarterback should.
The Dolphins select quarterback Dan Marino of Pittsburgh.
If you were rookie again, what would your signing bonus be?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What did these guys get? 10?
A lot.
They got a lot.
10. The linemen are getting 10.
Yeah. 50.
You're worth 50 million signing bonus?
Sure.
Your favorite place to play besides Joe Robbie, and why?
I can't say the Orange Bowl, right?
Tough question.
Okay, let's
Tough
see.
answer.
Well, I'd have to go with the teams in the AFC East because I've played there so many times, you know, like Rich Stadium or, you know, the Meadowlands, playing against the...
If you were a defensive lineman and you had a break to the quarterback scot-free, what quarterback would you like to sack?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know, maybe Brett Favre.
And why?
Because he's mobile, so that would mean I'd be pretty quick. And
well, we know that's not the case, but go ahead.
Plus, he's kind of a knucklehead, you know. Did a good job on Brett.
Now that Bernie Kosar and myself have retired from the game of football, do you feel that now for sure you are the slowest quarterback?
Oh, I was much faster than you.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, come on.
We could go outside and race right now if you want.
Any quarterback sneaks over the top this year?
If I have to do it, I will.
You do have some vertical, don't you?
No, I don't know about over the top. I'm just going to throw underneath.
Over the top? I saw you play hoops. You can get up.
I used to be able to dunk.
If and when the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, and for a former Bills player, it's tough to say that. Jimmy Johnson's hair, do you break out the razors and completely shave his head?
I think I would. Sure, why not?
No
you gonna
problem.
help me? You gonna help me?
I'll be right there with you.
Okay, let's do it.
No problem.
Let's do it.
Imagine Jimmy Johnson with no hair.
I'm sure to win a Super Bowl, he wouldn't mind.
What has been the best thing a coach has told you?
Best thing a coach ever told me was Jackie Sherrill told me never to let anybody tell you how to throw the football. Because you're doing it just perfect. That was the best advice I ever got.
Oh, that's funny, Dan.
Hey, we had fun. We had a lot of fun.
Stupid too.
Hey, Dan, but you guys were righties, you know. You guys are right-handed quarterbacks. That's one thing. Consider the world of left-handed quarterbacks, all right? Steve Young gets set to battle with fellow Portsider Mark Brunell. Now, they have it tough.
The whole world's set up so that lefties have to fight for what they get. Makes you tougher, meaner, and more determined.
He gets to the 10, across the 10 to the first down. I've been really trying, trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby, then come on. Oh, come on. Woo. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's love, baby.
Mom.
Gonna get it on.
You've really been wanting a satellite dish, haven't you? You want all the sports. You want all the movies. But you're concerned. Hey, Radio Shack explains everything. And Radio Shack can even install your system for you when you buy now. Plus, when you get an RCA DirecTV system for only $149.99 and subscribe to 99 NFL Sunday Ticket and DirecTV Total Choice Platinum, get 3 months of free programming, all with no long-term commitment. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Things not quite what they used to be? Well, head for fall car care days at Pep Boys.
Buy a case of Pennzoil or Quaker State Motor Oil. Get over $60 back on a super selection of world-class car care products. There's something for every part of your car, inside and out, bumper to bumper, plus over $60 back. You'll be looking good. Or at least your car will. During Fall Car Care Days at Pep Boys.
Lefties. The statements usually come from baseball. He's a lefty cannot be said without saying he's a crafty lefty. Three of the greatest pitchers from the port side ever were called Lefty. Lefty Grove, Lefty Gomez, and Lefty Steve Carlton. So down the middle of the road, that he lives in a mountainside bunker with food for about 2 months just in case in Durango, Colorado, or outside of there. And what about football lefty Bobby Douglas? Well, he was such a good passer, he's remembered only for his running. But lately, left-handed quarterbacks have been as good as they get. The two on center stage in Jacksonville today will attest. Steve Young of the Niners, Mark Brunell of the Jaguars. Here's Sean Salisbury.
We make the decision when we're young, children in our athletic infancy, discovering what feels natural, completing passes in a friendly game of catch with our right hand, or going against the norm and throwing with our left. At the tender age of 2, there was no doubt what felt right to Mark Brunell.
I was born left-handed, and for me, there's never been any difficulty in deciding which hand to throw with.
Indecision and conflict almost marred Steve Young's athletic maturation.
My dad tried to make me right-handed. He begged me. He's like, he used to tie my hand behind my back, try to make me right-handed. Yeah, because he really didn't want a left-handed son. Back then, being lefty was kind of not right.
Lefties are a minority in life and in sport. 10% of the world's population is left-handed, and only 3 of the league's 31 teams start southpaws. The fraternity of left-handed quarterbacks is minute. Hence, the myths still preside.
Just in real world, I mean, they're just different.
The way they eat, the way they hold a fork, the way they hold a pencil, you know, it's very unusual, and it just doesn't look very comfortable.
Probably some of the myths that were oddballs, a little different inside in the head. That's not true. I think we're pretty normal. I'm not quirky like a kicker, but I mean, I have my quirks. No. Nobody's close to a kicker. But lefty, you're a little bit nonconformist. You're a little bit unconventional. Growing up in school, all the desks are righty. So you end up, trying to do your thing lefty, all crooked and backwards. The whole world's set up so that lefties have to fight for what they get. Makes you tougher, meaner, and more determined.
The uncommon takes time to become customary for first-time teammates of a left-handed quarterback.
Just the flight of the ball. If you're running a go on the left-hand side, the ball has the tendency to tail to the left side. That different spin. It was very difficult for me to adjust to, and I feel a little more comfortable with it now, and knowing that the ball is gonna come in a little weird.
The problem with most balls is that they're made for righties, because righties
You're saying balls are made for righties now?
Yeah, right. And so another thing a lefty has to overcome.
Is that a conspiracy theory?
Yeah. It's not theory. It is conspiracy fact that most balls are right-handed. And so whenever you find a left-handed ball, it is beautiful. That thing flies.
Lefties do have heroes they can idolize. For instance, the last 3 U.S. presidents were left-handed. Albert Einstein was lefty also.
Einstein, they said that, when he was a kid that, that he wasn't very smart. No one gave him a chance of doing anything in the world. How about George Washington was probably lefty? I can see him in the front of the boat when he's holding the thing. He's holding a lefty.
I mean, maybe why they're so smart, they're doing things backwards, I guess.
Just flip it, As a righty would do it, flip it, and you can do it lefty. And I feel bad for any kid out there that just can't be himself, If he's lefty, man, let him be.
I never knew that Silver Dollar across the Potomac was a left-handed scud. That's very interesting. Next, our picks for Super Bowl 34. Who'll be going with Atlanta? We give ours in a moment.
What happens
when there's no disqualifications, no holds barred, no boundaries. Chicago claims to be the toughest town in America, but even Chi-Town can't contain the most intense wrestling event of the millennium, where there are no limits. Every man is out for himself when ECW presents Anarchy Rules.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Fran. Morning, officer. Hey, Steve.
Can't follow your team from where you live?
How's the wife and kids?
Now you can choose from up to 13 games a week. NFL Sunday Ticket. We've got your game.
Hey, little guy.
The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the brand new Cleveland Browns on ESPN Sunday Night Football.
You dog pound.
What's your problem?
No one else is insulted by this guy?
Hey, take it easy.
What? I'm having a good time. I just want to know if our friend here has ever done any time in a real dog pound.
That's just the thing. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Save it for the Humane Society, you poser.
It's the Steelers against the Browns on ESPN Sunday Night Football. It all begins with NFL primetime at 7:30.
Jimmy, head with hair, long, beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, steaming, flashing, waxing, a home for fleas, a hive for bees, a nest for birds, ain't no word for the beauty, the splendor, the wonder of my hair. Blow it back, show it back, long it's got been growing my hair. Blow it back, show it back. Well, each week on Sunday NFL Countdown, we'll give you something to get ready for. But, I mean, let's just forget to get ready. Let's just get ready for Atlanta. Super Bowl picks. We've been at this a while. What do you like, Tom?
Jacksonville, the right team and the right schedule. And Green Bay and Brett Favre with a full supporting cast. I think Jacksonville, Green Bay.
Jim? You got to have the full package. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings and the Jaguars. Sterling?
I'm going with the Pro Bowl coaches. I'm going with Minnesota and the New York Jets.
I picked Jacksonville and Green Bay before Tommy did, and he knows it, so it's all about Brett Favre. He gets it done.
Well, what about Coach?
I'm going to make it 3. Green Bay, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Stu?
Got to go with the Jets and Vikings, and the Vikes will score their 60 points in the Super Bowl game.
I've thought a lot about this. I really put a lot of extras. I've looked at all the charts and everything else. San Francisco and Buffalo. It's the last year of the millennium. I'm not getting off that now. We'll be back to wrap it up in a moment. See you at the Super Bowl.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because you're too busy. So you push it. Just like your cheap brother-in-law at one of those all-you-can-eats. Hey, it's your car. You want to learn the hard way? Be my guest. This is reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. You ought to change your oil on time, but if you can't, can you say insurance? Quaker State. It's been tested. It works. What more do you need to know?
Buy 4 Michelin tires now and get a free emergency roadside kit. Play the Michelin Buy 4 and Score game and maybe win a Dodge Viper, plus other great prizes. See your participating Michelin dealer by October 31st.
Hey, working hard or hardly working? Steve Marino, hey, how's it going, fella?
Feeling hungry can affect your mood. That's why there's Balance Bar. It puts great taste, balanced nutrition, and sustained energy in the palm of your hand. Never be out of balance.
Normally, I'm not very sentimental, but all this could bring out the romantic in anybody. So, to Peter, may your marriage run as smoothly as that world-class e-business system you conceived and implemented in 3 months and in 27 languages, I might add, for that big multinational last year. Well, it was pretty cool.
From idea to implementation. Commitment, commitment, commitment.
You can't imagine the tension, Dad. Jamie was our last hope.
Phone calls like this are just too important to rush.
Their picture was huge.
That's why we always dial 10-10-321.
And then Jamie really smacked it.
With 10-10-321, our calls over 10 minutes are just 8 cents a minute, day or night. And at 8 cents a minute, we can talk as long as we want.
Grandpa wants to talk to you. Hi, Grampy. I won the game.
Get 8 cents a minute with 10-10-3-2-1.
NFL Countdown is brought to you by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And by EDS. E-Anxiety, EDS can help.
Stu and Marty, welcome. Fellas, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching Countdown. Joe DiMaggio, athlete number 22 in the century. Coming up next year at Primetime.
Sunday NFL Countdown is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.